Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. So in today's video we will understand how to create Nifty PM task for QuickBooks Online invoice. So here my objective is that whenever in QuickBooks a new invoice will be added, then I want to create a task in Nifty. So now to do this, firstly I need to build an integration between these two applications, for which I will be using this amazing integration and automation software, that is Pabbly Connect. So here my trigger application will be QuickBooks and my action application will be Nifty. So to learn more about this integration, follow me through the screen. In this video, we will understand how to create Nifty task for QuickBooks Online invoice. So here let's assume that whenever an invoice will be created in QuickBooks, then I want to create a task in Nifty. So here let's assume that I want to create a task stating that whether an invoice has been sent on mail or not. So you can create many other tasks as well over here in Nifty. So now to do this, I need to build an integration between these two applications, for which I will be using this amazing integration and automation software, that is Pabbly Connect. So now to begin with the process, here I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. But if you are a new user, you can click on the sign up for free button and every month you will get 100 tasks for free. So as an existing user, I'm going to sign in. Now this here is the all applications page by Pabbly. So I will go to Pabbly Connect and click on access now to reach my dashboard. So this here is my dashboard, and to create a new workflow, I will go to my right hand side corner and click on this create workflow button. So now in this dialog box appearing, I need to give my workflow a name. So here I'm going to name it as Create Nifty Task for QuickBooks Online Invoice, and on my left hand side you can see that these are the folders that I've created before. So I want to save this workflow in the folder named as QuickBooks, and here I'm going to click on Create. So as I did that, now I have arrived on a very important window which consists of trigger and action. Basically, trigger and action are the two most important principles or concepts of Pabbly Connect, on which this entire automation and integration will depend. Trigger says when this happens, action says do this. Action is an automated response of your trigger application, and in a workflow you can only have one trigger but multiple action. So now moving to my use case, that is to create Nifty task for QuickBooks Online invoice. So moving to my trigger window, as I'm creating an invoice by using QuickBooks, so QuickBooks will be my trigger application, and here it is. Now moving to the trigger event, that will be new invoice. So this trigger will start working whenever a new invoice will be added. So now moving further, going to my action window, as I want to create a task in Nifty. So here I'm going to search for Nifty, here it is. And now the action event will be to create a new task. So now as I've selected my action application and the action event along with my trigger application and the trigger event. So here my objective is that whenever a new invoice will be added in QuickBooks, then automatically a task should be created in Nifty. So now to do this, firstly I have to establish a connection between QuickBooks. So here I'm going to click on Connect. And now to add a new connection, I've already logged into my QuickBooks account in one of the tabs. So here I'm going to simply click on Connect with QuickBooks. So here you can see Pabbly Connect and QuickBooks is successfully connected. So if I'm going to click on the save and send test request, then it will capture the last invoice details which would have been created in QuickBooks. So here in QuickBooks, this is the last invoice that I've created. So now I'm going to create a new invoice, and then I will get the response of that invoice in Pabbly Connect. So over here, to create a new invoice, I need to add the customer. So here I'm going to add the customer as demo dummy. You can add new customers by clicking on this add new button. So I'm going to add demo dummy as the customer. So here is the invoice number and here is the invoice date. Now I'm going to change the due date. So instead of December, I'm going to keep it as 27th of November. So here I've edited the due date. So now moving ahead, here I need to select the product or service. So I'm going to use this t-shirt as the product. And now here moving to this quantity, that will be 1. The rate for the t-shirt is $499. So over here moving to the description. Here I'm leaving it as blank. Now I'm going to delete this second option, and you can see that this is how the invoice will look like when this will be created. So here I'm going to save this. You can see that the invoice has been saved. So now to capture this invoice in Pabbly Connect, here in Pabbly Connect, I'm going to click on Save and Send Test Request. And here you can see I've received the response of the invoice that I've just created. So here is the created date and time. Here is the product name. Scrolling down, here is the name of the customer. Here is the currency, and here is the email address of the customer along with the price. So that means the invoice that I've just created in QuickBooks is successfully captured over here in Pabbly Connect. So the first step of this automation is successful. That means now whenever in QuickBooks a new invoice will be created, then automatically that invoice will be captured over here in Pabbly Connect. So this trigger will check for new data in every 8 hours. That means QuickBooks is a polling based application, so our trigger is a polling based one. So in every 8 hours, it is going to check for the new data. So as I've got the invoice details over here in Pabbly Connect, now I want to create a task in Nifty. So here in Nifty, I'm going to create a task that whether this invoice has been sent on mail to the customer or not. So now to do this, here I need to establish a connection between Nifty and Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on Connect. And now to add a new connection, I've already logged into my Nifty account in one of the tabs. Here I'm going to click on Connect. And now I'm going to click on Allow as this is a secure access. So you can see that the authorization is successful. So Nifty and Pabbly Connect is successfully connected. So now moving to the task name. Here I want to mention the task name as the name of the customer and invoice. So now over here from the response received, I'm going to map the name. So basically mapping is to insert the data from previous step. So as I've received the response from QuickBooks, so here in the search bar, I'm going to search for the name of the customer. That was demo dummy. And after demo dummy, I'm going to give a space and mention it as invoice. So this will be my task name. So here in description, I've mentioned the details like name, product, email and price. And the task goes as check the status whether mail for invoice has been sent or not. So now over here, I'm going to mention the details by using the method of mapping. So here I'm going to map the name of the customer, that was demo dummy. I've mapped it. So now moving to the product, here I'm going to search the product. Here is the product and I've mapped it. Moving to the email, so here I'm going to map the email from the response and here is the email. Now moving to the price, here I'm going to map the price. So I've mapped the price as well. So now it says check the status whether mail for invoice has been sent or not. So this is my task description. Here I've added the details and the task that will be to check the status whether the mail for the invoice will be sent or not. So now moving to project ID, here you can select the project ID that you want to use. Moving to the task group ID, so that is to do. Scrolling down, here you can set a due date as well. So I want to set the due date as I've mentioned in the invoice. So I'm searching for the due date and I've mapped it. So now if you want to enter banner here, you can do that. Or if you want to assign it here, you can add the assignees. So as I've mapped the details. So this method of mapping is important so that every time you receive a new response with new data, so that data can be taken into consideration in these fields. If I would have written this information manually, in that case, this information would have become static, which means that it wouldn't change even if I would have received new response. So to avoid that problem, we map the information. So now scrolling down, here I'm simply going to click on Save and Send Test Request. And here you can see I've received the response and this here is a positive response. So now I'm going to take you to my Nifty account. So here in all tasks, you can see in due this month, here is the task that has been created. So now I'm going to open this. And this is how the task look like. So here is the description for the task that is added and here is the due date for the same. That means a task has been created successfully in Nifty when an invoice has been created in QuickBooks. So this integration and automation was a successful one. Now that means now whenever in QuickBooks a new invoice will be added, then automatically a task will be created in Nifty. Not just these applications, you can integrate a lot more applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you have any doubts regarding Pabbly, reach us at support@pabbly.com, and if you have any queries, you can visit us at forum.pabbly.com. If you have any pricing related query, you can visit this link. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends and colleagues and do not forget to like, share and subscribe our channel.